Okay, in this video, we are going to graph r equals -2 plus 2 cosine theta. So a couple things to look at here is that we are not in the xy plane anymore. Now we are in the polar plane because now we have r and then we also have theta. So a couple things that you can do with this type of problem is first try to pretend that you are graphing this in x and y plane. So what you want to go ahead and do is just graph the cosine curve. We all know what a cosine curve looks like. This is going to be multiplied by 2, so now it's going to have an amplitude of 2. And this is what it's going to do. It's going to shift down 2 units. So I'm not going to do that here, but if you go ahead and do the problem, this is what it's somewhat going to look like. So I'm going to write down my increments: 0, pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, 2 pi. Okay, and I'm going to go -1, -2, -3, and -4. So if I do this correctly, it should look something like this. This one's going to be at -4, this is going to be at -2, and this is going to be at 0. Okay, so if I graph this correctly, you should be able to see my cosine curve, something like that. Okay, so it's right below the theta axis. Okay, this is r, this is theta. Okay, now this is not the graph. What we want is the polar graph. So remember, we have rotation and we have angles and radius that we have to account for. So now let's go ahead and start with our polar graph. So we're going to start off with the pole. So at theta equals 0, so here is 0. At theta is equal to 0 radians, we have to look at what is the radius going to be here. So theta equals 0, we only have a 0 r. So that one is just going to start here. Okay, then we're going to go to the next one, which is pi over 2. Theta equals pi over 2. Okay, how many units am I going? Well, at theta equals pi over 2, my radius is -2. Okay, so let me write that down. So theta equals 0, we found out that the radius was just equal to 0, so that was fine. When theta was equal to pi over 2, we found out that the radius in this case is now going to be -2. Now this -2 means that I'm going to be going backwards, okay? So even though pi over 2 is in this direction, we're going to go downward, okay? So we're going to go down to -2. Okay, so it's not going to go this way. Okay, so I'm going to go this way. Okay. Now, the next one is theta equals pi. So at theta equals pi, what is going to be my my value? It's going to be -4. So r in this case is equal to -4. Okay, so now theta equals pi is right here. And my radius is going to be 4. Well, it's not going to be this way. It's not going to be +4. Because this will be +4. It's going to go in the opposite direction. So theta equals pi is going to go the opposite direction. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to go that way. Okay, so here is my point at theta equals pi is going opposite. Oops, I messed this up. Okay, so it's going to go opposite. Okay. All right. Now, at theta equals pi over 3. Okay, so theta equals 3 pi over 2. Sorry, not pi over 3. Okay, at 3 pi over 2, my radius in this case, 3 pi over 2, my radius is going to be -2. So theta equals 3 pi over 2 is going to go this direction. But since the radius is negative, we're going to go the opposite. So we're going to go down to -2 over here. This is -2 in the theta equals 3 pi over 2 direction. So now this is going to go somewhere like this. I'm going to try my best to draw these pictures. Okay, and the last one is, okay, now theta is equal to 2 pi. So when theta is equal to 2 pi, my radius in this case is now back to 0. Okay, so now this one at theta equals 2 pi is not going to go back to 0. Okay, so what I drew is something, you know, it's kind of cute, but yeah, this is what the graph basically looks like. So a couple things to really keep in mind is that all of our radius in this case were all negative. So we were going the opposite direction of where the angle was. So even though theta was equal to 2 pi over 2 over here, right, going this direction, our radius was -2. So we were going opposite. So at this point, negative 2 was down here. That's why we were there. But remember, we're still in the theta equals pi over 2 direction. Okay? So this was a little bit of a harder problem, but I think it's going to be good for you. Okay.